Hello, I am the Ronin Pawn, and welcome to Clustertruck Tournament Speedrunning Thing 2021 we be doing every weekend. I'm here with AJ213, Master of the Whiteboard.
Yay! Hello, everyone.
Dancer of dry erase markers. Welcome, folks, to the show. Hello, Lexio8TF. AJ, you're in chat. Did you know that? Something's broken. Mosaic Task Force. Srasties. Who else we got here? There's Cage King 2. I saw sneak in there at the beginning. Welcome, everybody, to race day number... because I've lost track. Today we've got Jax and Max going head-to-head in the any percent category. Two runners who seem to have wanted any percent, and they went ahead and got it. And what do you got there? They are the same. They're the same person. Who? What? Where? When? Why?
Jax. Oops.
But so do we have a favorite for this race today, AJ?
Honestly, we do have Max as the favorite because he's a pretty high-performing any percent runner. I think he's like top 10 actually. Yeah, 8th place any percent. As for Jax, I don't know where Jax is actually, but yeah, that's the story.
That said, both of these runners seem to try and push themselves into any percent. We know that Max does not want to have to do no ability at any point during this competition, and Jax vetoed no utility. So between Max's veto on no ability and Jax on no utility, we ended up with any percent, which really just says that both of these runners felt they had the best chance in any percent. So I'll be curious to see how close of a race we managed to get today. Your favorite is the one whose name ends with X, Mosaic Task Force? Me too.
Does it have an A in there too?
So, without further ado, unless you want to, tell us about how's your life going, AJ? How's
the kids have been going good,
How's the 5 o'clock shadow coming along that we can see there?
5 o'clock shadow? Oh.
The slight mustache that's coming.
I'll be back. I'll shave it. No.
All right. Oh, the one thing that I've forgotten to do here is get us open a good live split. There we go. We've got our timer up and ready to go, and I wonder if things are actually going to work today when I press the buttons. They look like they'll work today when I press the buttons. So,
I can tell you which button.
At your will, AJ, to get us started, give us that countdown.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go!
Jeez. And the runners have thrown their headphones off of their faces. And right out of the gate, we see Something Max clearing 1-1 in the fastest time between these two runners. Moving into 1-2, Max is dropping trucks and making sure that he's moving in super fast time through. Curious to see what kind of RNG Jax gets through this level. Oh, getting to the outside, trying to stay alive, but no such luck. So we've already got ourselves a 1-level gap here in World 1.
Oh, but Max is suffering on the 1-5. So, we're good. Oh, but he actually got it, though.
Yeah, looks like you got the great big old PTB that sends you right over. All of the beautiful movement that level has to offer when you don't have magical truck spawning in hand abilities. As some superheroes I've recently reviewed had for food, according to, I think, the Disney Channel. You ever seen the Disney Channel movie, like, Food Man or something? There's a kid. Of course there's a kid. Of course he's, like, 16 years old, and he could generate, like, slices of ham from his hands. And apparently they spend, like, 2 hours just establishing the origin story for Food Boy. Food Man?
What even is that origin story? I don't...
Well, obviously, AJ, his grandmother has had these powers, and, chefs use them in order to create... There's a burden, a cost. You have to create a great dish. What are we talking about? Isn't there a speed run going on here?
I think so. Do they produce ham? Is that what PTB is? Producing enough ham to like launch you forward? Never mind.
So Max has quickly pulled ahead into World 2 here, moving into the middle of World 2-2-4, as Jax is trying to defeat the RNG in 1-9. Always the nastiest little segment in World 1 is 1-9, the upward slope of the climb to the top where you can actually get into the goal. It tends to have a lot of trucks on it that like to stand up on their hind legs as though they're a puppy just crying for attention and affection. Woo, woo. Jack's holding on to it, throwing some trucks down and moving through 110 in a single clear. Meanwhile, Max is into 2-7, trying to pull off that rear wall PTB to send him to the end. Didn't quite get it, but he's still got enough height to use a little bit of levitation, move to the front here, and push out.
I swear any percent is like the hopes and dreams run. You try for something and it just doesn't work. It's just how it goes. Like 2-7. 2-7 makes me upset. Just going for the PPTB on 2-2. I'm actually doing that more recently because the normal way to do it is just too annoying. So
yeah, wedging the truck into the fence there. I actually saw in your recent PB on the leaderboards you lost several seconds to, I think, 3 or 4 attempts to get that damn fence to just give you what you're looking for.
Yeah. In my most recent PB, which isn't published yet, I actually just did the PPTB. I just said, fuck it. It's easier.
What's the time look like when you do the PPTB over that one?
You probably can get like a 5-second if you're like really good at it, but usually you get like 6 or 7. Just usually get set too high.
So still a pretty good time out of that level.
Yeah.
Especially considering if you lose 1 attempt on that level, then you're already like 2-3 seconds behind.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Max almost got obliterated in 3-4. Sometimes you'll bounce against that pillar and then you just bounce straight into the wall. It's so annoying. Oh, struggling on the 3-5.
And Jax
I don't know what
now...
you're running, but for 3-5.
What?
3-5 is like... Oh, sorry. 3-5 is like... I don't know. I just do it as ninja senses, I guess. It just happens. I don't even think about it, no matter what configuration. I don't know if that's just you at this point, but...
Yeah, I've definitely got my own strange setup for it that usually works, but I really need to, because it has such a... If I'm not fluent in it, if I'm a little bit rusty on it, it'll start giving me problems. I definitely needed to have more than just the sense of smell. So I feel like I do have a pretty good idea of what's going to work for my method. But 3-5 is an interesting one because pretty much every runner has a slightly different setup and delivery for that. A lot of runners like to sort of get in line with the top of the roof and move along the side of it as they fall in order to make like a subtle adjustment to be at just the right place. Me, I just nose down and fall.
Honestly, for my strategy, it's just random. It just works. I know all permutations. It just works. But 4-1 though, you can't do that. It's
I'm
different every
liking
time.
Max's run through there. He got a little bit of a sort of a sock grab, but there's a certain situation where sort of getting caught on the corner of a truck when you're going slow actually gives you some extra speed. And wow, what a fast 4-2 there, dropping that truck just as soon as he came off the end of those trucks and giving himself almost a little hop. I tend to see, there it is again, runners more often using that truck drop in order to save themselves from hitting the ground, whereas it looks like Max here is using it at very specific points to really launch himself, give himself extra speed by dropping it at just the right height and with just the right angle that it sort of pops up and slaps him in the butt, gets him going faster.
I think these runners have new enlightened speedrunner syndrome. Like
Ness?
The
Ness of these runners.
Yeah. They have.
It's especially funny to me because Lady Pawn, my girlfriend, has a tendency to describe things by their ness. So whenever I hear someone say somethingness, the what's a word that ends in geez? My brain's gonna just shut off for this. But just anything that's got a ness at the end of it. I now think of ness as like its own verb or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I'm surprised actually Jax got that PTB on 3.9. He was actually looking too far down, and so if you look too far down, you tend to like miss the portable truck more. A very common misconception in 90% is people think that it's like an explosion, but it's really more like you want to get hit by the truck, not really just get like hit on the below side, I guess. If that makes sense, I guess.
I'm gonna try and get
Does that?
the stream volume up for both of these runs so that we can have a little bit of excitement sounds in the background more than we have in the past. We've got something max now into World 5 and basically an entire level between these two runners at this point. These are the early levels that, you know, you can move through pretty quickly here, so the gap isn't as large as it might seem. But Max is moving quite quickly through Medieval World here as Jax is not really getting the kind of like speed that you want to get off of a level like this with the right movement, the right hops, using a lot of levitation to make sure that he's landing the trucks in the right safely, but not so much using levitation to get levitation boosts to catch extra speed off of it anyway.
Definitely. And I think there's a kind of a little bit of a hesitation there. Because if you notice, like, go out and then a little bit in again, and I feel like he's slowing down. I can't really tell, though. But I guess it's not really redirecting your velocity too well. If that makes sense.
That's a big old PPTB for Max, right over the top of everything on 5.7. All in no ability even, you go for an up and over on the wall there, but dropping the PPTB that early and going straight to the end of the goal is something that I rarely see.
Telling you, it's Ness.
This is all your influence, AJ. These big PPTBs right from the beginning of the level. You're just changing the any percent run completely to just PPTB at every point.
And movement. Movement is bad. Cancel movement at any percent. We have no legs in this category.
Max
I guess you have to
taking
have some legs, but
quick death on 510 just to the size of the hitboxes that are significantly larger than the models throughout that world, medieval world. All of the buildings will kill you before you see them.
oh, I think it's a death. Okay, no, we're good. 6-1. Jack spent way too much time on that 4 or 5 PPTV. Way too much time.
He went up and over the laser anuses.
Yeah,
irises, I mean. Iris.
I mean, they're not too bad, honestly, but I understand why he's doing them. Maybe it's like, because, you know, if you do PPTV, right, once you get it, you know you're going to complete the level. So it's kind of nice. You don't have to do any movement. Because movement can suck, because you can spend like 7 seconds and just die at the end of the level, you know? So, but even then, I don't think it's worth it for these levels. I think you should just beat the level normally at this point.
Yeah, I think the level before this that Jax is on right now, so 4.6, I think has like average 10-second clear time when you've got good movement, about 11 when it's a little bit slower, that sort of a thing. So setting up a PPTB where you're going to be in the air for 7 seconds, if you miss it once, you are basically already losing time over just the movement.
Yeah. I mean, even I did the movement on that level because I'm not confident enough that PPTV on that one. Oh, is Max? Oh.
Ooh.
I've never seen that happen before.
A little bit of over-reliance on the levitation, I suppose, to miss the goal and get under it? Or did he just go too far on the outside of the goal cube?
I don't know. But maybe it could have been running out of levitation, too. Jack's going for another skip, and while they are good, but...
This one's tricky. There we go. That gets him the height to send him up and over these lasers. This is a tricky level, too, because it's tempting to keep going for it, even if you don't get everything you need. You can land before, like, the last 2 lasers and with a jump at the maximum height at just the right time. Just a natural jump, right, you know, straight up from the top of a truck. you can get up and over those last 2 waves of lasers that come in at you. But really, it's probably more tempting and eats more time because of the temptation. Because you should probably just give up on it if it doesn't work out the way that you intended. Very difficult to get both of those jumps at max height.
Max finally coming in for that 7-3. It's very difficult. Oh! Controversial, doing 7-4 on the right wall? Heretic. Left wall, PTB gang, right? Anyways. Oh.
And Jax is really struggling to get out of 410 here. He's got himself a nice jump that gets him all the way to the front. As long as he... just a little bit unfamiliar, I think. Needs a little bit more practice in figuring out how far he can get with levitation and things. With where he was and the amount of levitation he had, if he just built up the speed, took the jump, he probably could have consistently leved out, whether he waited for a moment or not.
Yeah, definitely.
So he's back to the front of the trucks here in 410, going to try and drop one to stay alive, manages to catch the side of that one for a little bit of a mega jump, sort of a grind to keep him alive, and finally moving into medieval world.
Oh, nice.
Meanwhile, Max is going for the primary strat here on the longest level in the game, 7-8. He threw a truck down into the blower. He's going to try and come off this front truck with speed, drop another truck underneath him, get hit by this blower, and just keep moving straight to the goal.
Yep, and it never fails.
That truck that you drop always comes out directly underneath you and keeps you going fast. It never grabs your heels and makes you slam to a halt after putting about 15 seconds into the longest level of the game. Never happens.
Never. You'd have to be a pretty bad runner to fail that.
Max going for the safe version of 710 here, where you just take a blow, turn around, you take a blow and you turn around, and you do the hokey pokey, and you miss the goal cube as it falls below him. Oh, he must have actually hit the wall there to die, because otherwise, if he was still alive with levitation, he could have, just went and found that that truck that's got the goal stapled to the top of it. Only level in the base game here that has that feature going on. There are other levels in some of the seasonal pack of Clustertruck levels that also feature that, where the goal is actually stapled to a truck, and you've got to do something special in order to catch it. Ooh. How many attempts did it take him to get that 8-3?
It kind of looked like first try, or at least second, but... Pretty nice. Any percent runners are jealous. Overall, really nice steampunk PTBs, though. Seriously.
Yeah, one levitation 8.5 on a first try. Second try 8.6 here. One lev and in.
Like a 140.
It's another thing, when I was running any percent, I didn't, I got up to 5th rank for a moment. But when I was running any percent, I don't know that this was true or if I just decided to believe it, but do you lose speed each time you levitate? Is it better to avoid levitation if you can?
No, I don't think it really matters for the PTVs, but what does matter is holding space. That you do lose speed doing that, but you do gain height holding space. So, and the reason why is because when you throw the PTB, if you're holding space, you're going to jump immediately as you get hit, and for some reason, jumping will kind of slow you down. Yeah. But what you can do instead is you don't hold jump, and then when you get hit by the PTB, you late jump off of the portable truck. So, yeah. You ever tried that before running?
Not sure. Little distracted. Max's 8.8 there. I did not, catch the first half of it. Hang on.
Are you going back in time?
Resetting the audio there. Because I could hear that something was breaking down in my audio chain.
Oh, I see.
But on that 8.8 that he had, it was I don't know. He was just using levitation. He completely used up all of his levitation and then waited for it to regenerate twice and tapped out. I've always seen every other any percent runner on 8.8 protect very carefully their levitation in order to not use it all up until the end. He just completely used it all up in the first place and apparently like maintained enough height that it was able to regenerate as he was coming. Have you ever seen that on 8.8 from an any percent runner?
I actually haven't, but I mean, if it works, I mean, makes sense a bit, I guess, because I think if you let it regenerate, levitate regenerates faster. I guess. I mean, I feel like there's like an acceleration. No, maybe there isn't.
Whoa!
It's definitely slower after you use it, but
the things that Max is coming up with on 9.4 here to try and deal with getting blocked by one of these crucifixes after a PTB off of the back wall. Oh, taking another death on 9.4 fighting it. Impressive, though, to watch him fight it. The things he's coming up with. He's managed to make it down the middle. He's looking to stay alive, land another truck. At this point, is he going to, finally back off and just take some safety? There you go, Max. 9.3, clearing that one in several attempts, but several very interesting attempts that really showed a lot of skill to try and improvise in the moment to make that work out for him. And into 9.5, he's going for the PTB off of the fence railing there. That is a dangerous PTB, I find. Most any percent runners can't do it with a level of consistency that really makes it worth it. It's 3 seconds time save probably over just keep running at full speed at that point. And for as often as I see people run 7-8 seconds into that level to turn around at that midpoint of the level, I always question the wisdom of even going for it. You have to be really confident in it, otherwise you're going to be losing time.
I've actually lost some PBs to doing it. But I think a couple PBs I just said, fuck it, I have PTSD on 9.5, I'm just not doing it. So
9.8
eventually you
PTB
learn your lesson.
For Max, just up and over those crucifixes, very interesting. He almost like, he turned so hard, it was as though he was trying to slow himself down so that he wouldn't get rocketed face first into those rolling pentagrams, because it looked like that's what was going to happen. Still managed to, with proper use of levitation, keep alive and take it out. A little bit of a risky strat on 9.9 to clear it, but we're into 9.10. He's looking for a PPTB up here. Now he just needs to move in and hit the button on Cluster Satan's head, and he has for about a 19-minute, 26-second clear. 25, 26-second clear via RTA. So we have ourselves a winner here in something Max, but the timer goes on for Jax, who is clearing out the end of World 6 here, ready to move into Sci-Fi, just needs to feed his way between these rails and fall onto that gold cube.
Jack said he'd be behind 4 worlds, but this was like 3 worlds, so false advertising, so...
And taking the slower method through 7-1 here, and still paying for it with a misdrop of the truck. Dropped it to the right of him, and it slowed him down as opposed to giving him a way to move through it. Catching the roof there on a little bit of a bounce and dying again. These are, it's, I feel like at a certain level, when you get to, in your any percent run, and this is no criticism of Jax here, but at a certain level, when you're trying to grind any percent out for more, you need to start grinding no utility or no ability, just so that you get familiar with some of those skips and review some of the things that are easy gimmies that have been researched by the rest of the community. For this, this level, for example, here, 7-2, dropped a PPTB to go up and over the level. We're looking at a clear time that's going to be over 14 seconds, I think, coming in from the rear of this level, in fact, very oddly. Wow. Yeah, 19-second clear there. With just moving forward, jumping out to the left, and leving down, you clear that in a consistent 11.1 second time. So, So a little bit of time spent working outside of the any percent category and seeing what no utility runners and and no ability runners have come up with to defeat some of these things, you'll find that there's some really easy skips and easy paths where you don't have to risk quite as much or put in quite as much effort.
Yeah, and overall, I guess the philosophy is that sometimes you can become better at something by not doing it or doing something else, right? You learn different techniques. It's like a fighting style, right?
Well, and I always have respect for runners who would prefer to sort of reinvent the game and figure it out for themselves and find everything themselves. Because, you know, I feel like it's a big part of the fun of a speed run like this. This is a speed run that has a lot of RNG going in it. Even in any percent, there's a lot of randomness in this run, and the abilities help you to negate a lot of that. But a big part of the fun of a run that isn't the same every time is that, you know, exploring of the routing and learning, oh, he just barely misses the goal at the end of this level after putting in quite a bit of work to get there. But exploring the routing, learning a whole lot about you know, the different factors in the game, about the different sorts of RNG you're going to see at a regular time. So I very often see people running who don't necessarily know the latest strats, and I think, well, good on you, because you might be the next one to come up with something that we haven't thought of.
That's true. That is true. But on the other hand, it's still kind of important to look at other people's runners to at least see what tools they are to your toolkit.
Yeah, at a certain point, you definitely gotta find out what you're competing against and whether or not there's just a better way.
Yeah. I mean, some levels are pretty painful in this game, and we've been slowly making them better, like 7-8. Back in the day, there was no way to skip 7-8 even at any percent, so just wait, but here we are. We skipped the level.
Yeah, it's actually quite shocking for any percent to think back, like, knowing the history of the board somewhat, and to know that, like, 3-4 years ago now, I think 3 years ago now, any percent's fastest time was 19 minutes. 19 minutes for any percent, and many people thought that was going to last forever, couldn't be beaten. And now any percent's fastest time is, by RTA, is sub 14, or it's a 14 minute and some time by RTA, rather. Does that sound about right?
Sounds about right.
Found another 5 minutes to be scrubbed off in the past 3 years, just with better movement and some new routing and some new techniques and PPTBs. Some runners, you know, I like seeing, you know, I've enjoyed watching Noah run in the tournament here, and, you know, he's not the only one. We've seen multiple runners in any percent who have the truck in their pocket, who instead feel more comfortable with pause bounces for 9-10 and for 2-1 and stuff. It's just so curious to see somebody pull out a what is typically a no ability or no utility method when you've got a portable truck in your pocket that could make that what we would think of as easier, but it just really comes down to what you're already familiar with, what you're fluent in, what you can do confidently.
Talking about that, when it comes to fluency here, oh, nice.
Yeah.
But I think what Jack should do in the future is, it seems like he's getting pretty comfortable with the PPTBs and really likes them, but I think he's applying them in the wrong places, and I guess focusing them in the wrong areas. So, like, my run's pretty stupid right now with the PPTBs, right? But they do work. They do work. And so I think he should be applying them, I guess, earlier, and, like, Desert and Forest. The worlds that you would consider easy, but that's where the PPTBs are faster, so if you really want to apply them there. It's kind of like he's applying them right now in the world levels that would be, I guess, traditionally difficult to do movement in, but I guess that kind of, like, holds you back, I guess, from improving as a runner. Because you really do need to, like, practice that movement through that difficulty.
Nice first try clear of 7-10, gets Jax out of Sci-Fi World and into steampunk here. looking for another PPTB to send him up and over this rather large gap. Keep some of the speed, jump along these trucks to the front, and he's got some levitation restored. Take him out through 8-1. Is he going to go for the 8-3? Oh my goodness. Second try?
I guess it's easy.
Second try PPTB off the back wall for the over the... let's see, under the balloon, over the gear. Oh, is he trying to go straight through the middle of those? Boy, you and Snakeathon really annoyed me in your any percent runs for quite some time, taking the PTB off the back wall in this one, and specifically going through the middle of the truck cannons, just to show off. Maybe also for a bit of time save in your ILs and your segments for this world.
I don't even go for it anymore because I just don't want to risk it. Like, you're going for a good run, so why are you risking it? But I don't know, your PB becomes more special the more you play the game. Because it gets more and more rare. Wow, moving down pretty far doing this.
Yeah, I got an interesting setup and turn. Everybody's always looking for, you know, some way to develop consistency across these. These 3 levels, 8, 4, 8, 5, 8, 6. They are the same PTB off of the same back wall. It's the same model. And if you can figure out something that's consistent for you, then it's going to help out. But, yeah, it seems like once he got past that level, he felt a little bit more comfortable with it. And I think he was just out of his own sequence for this.
Don't do it. Why? That's like a skip I do and no mob for ILs only. Why? The 8-7 double... Was it even a double? Did he even do the first portable truck boost on 8-7?
I think he did.
But
I think he did.
Oh, he did, okay. Jeez. The double PTB.
So that works out.
It's funny because even the world record holder doesn't want to do it.
The timing of getting the portable truck back, it just works out. It's got to just work out really closely, is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. And you can get an even faster time if you want. It's just really unnecessary. I mean, it is nice on no MOV, though, because if you should know this if you're playing no ability, right? The trucks go a bit crazy and going on that downslope and they'll flip, so doing the portable truck boost can be nice because then you'll know you'll make the level if you're skilled enough.
Hmm. That's a nice squeeze through 8-9. Another level that very often it's kind of just not worth going for. It's such a tight little keyhole slot that you've got to feed yourself through if you want to carry any extra speed through there. And if it takes you 3 or 4 setups to get it, you probably could have cleared the level just by running forward or by taking just a safer version of it. I remember while I was grinding out any percent, I actually chose a method where instead of trying to set up for the fast PTB off the back wall, I would just sort of jump up and strafe to the right, I believe, and let it hit me a lot gentler, which would just send me forward with the kind of speed that I needed to lev to the goal without issue, as opposed to going for the fast one, where at the end of it, you've got to squeeze yourself between 2 rotating clock gears and find just the right hole.
Yeah. I think, though, when we're talking about Jax, I think the reason why he's going for certain strategies that most runners wouldn't is his setup is making him a lot lower than normal doing the portable truck boost, and so that's making certain PTBs easier, like 8-3 and 8-9, because normally you want to be a bit lower on those PTBs. Also, focus is ruined.
That makes sense, especially thinking about 8-3, the need to get over but under at the same time. So yeah, I could see him with the fall and the turn and everything like that, just trying to get himself lower for when it kicks him forward with the speed he needs to clear the level.
Yeah. I think the only downside, of course, is going to be consistency, because if you're going for that late jump, it's a different timing every single time. So, changes your height. Oh, geez. At this point, you should just finish the level normally.
Little bit of height, enough to get him started in the level. He's going to take it to the middle and get stuck on a crucifix here. Hopefully take the opportunity to generate some more Ooh, very nice.
Nice.
Just in the spirit of no ability percent. If I can't get through these trucks, then I'll climb on the obstacles that are trying to kill me.
Oh, he should reset this point.
He should have reset the beginning of this level. So for the uninitiated, 9-4, if you don't hit the R button and reset as you're coming in, has the potential to give you a level load where all the trucks hop a little bit more violently in the first moment that it opens up. And because they do, basically all of them can be thrown off to the right. So any runner who knows better will enter that level, hit reset in order to get a more stable load of it so that you have some chance of there still being enough trucks, because there's no guarantee on that level that you will have what you need to clear those gaps. Ooh.
Jax, it's not worth it, I promise. Just beat the level normally. I promise. And I thought I had an illness with the PPTVs, but I can't win.
Into 9-6, here's a level where we see a lot of runners have difficulty with. Again, anytime you've got to climb a hill that's at this kind of steep angle in Clustertruck, one, the trucks don't behave quite as you would expect, and two, hey, he's got the PPTB up and over. Two, you know, you've got to get familiar with how it feels to jump onto a truck that's actually higher than you are, because it feels like your jump is coming in shorter, but of course it's just because the truck is above you a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And for the 9-7 skip here, aiming a little bit far outside of the wheelbase that he wants to be throwing that at.
He's actually doing the kind of the wrong truck too. You actually do the truck below on the right there, so he may make this. Yeah, he's gonna make it, but that's not the correct truck. Illegal.
Disqualified.
Disqualified.
Oh.
Didn't do the correct any percent strat. And you know what's funny is that this is a level that I would accept a PPTV in, just because you usually get screwed over by the wheels.
Yeah.
But maybe it's difficult.
I have found it difficult to get the PPTB. Usually they're easy when you've got trucks that are coming together. It sort of squeezes the truck that you're throwing into a smaller spawning space. You get a little bit more reliability out of what it's going to do. But I think the odd terrain... Oh! Gets caught by that big old crucifix. Or rather, pentagram. Yeah, I feel like the slight oddness of the angles and terrain there makes it harder for me to get a PPTB out of 9-8.
Yeah. Sometimes the oddness in the terrain can help you, but it really depends if they're like going against you or not. Like if they're tilted towards you, I think, is when it's an issue. But if they're tilted away, it actually helps you, because then the truck will, I guess, push you more forward. I did that 1-1.
Picking up some speed there.
The slopes, like you were mentioning earlier.
It's interesting. I actually enjoy trying to go for ILs on this level in no ability, because there's the amount of speed and fortune and everything that you need in order to get off of this chain as soon as you possibly can, in order to then try and move into the fastest movement you can along these, straight rows of trucks. So you got a good opportunity once you get there, but it's a very stressful kind of a thing that there's something wrong with me, and so I enjoy it.
Do you enjoy 9-5 too?
I actually do. Like, I've got a very, not necessarily for ILs, but I've got a very specific method for 9-5. We've got a first try, but he does not hit the button from the side, hits it from the top, pushing Cluster Satan into the second round there, which is not what we want to see in any percent. That is a clear. And that brings Jackson here with a 35-minute, 57-second any percent run via RTA. And that brings our race to a conclusion. But yeah, I really do enjoy 9-5 specifically because I've got, like, it's a holdover from the old days for like my no ability movement and stuff like that was there's a number of levels in Hell, including 9.5, where I set up with like a delaying set of hops, 1, 2, 3, and I'm just going from one truck to the other, and it's specifically to line the trucks up in, you know, let them get to the right place and then go, and it's consistent, and it's one of the fastest ways to do it, no ability. So I do enjoy myself a good 9.5.
And it's funny to me because you have to wait too, and it still works. So that's the amazing part about no ability. But we have 2 runners here that are finished. They're beautiful runs. How are you all? How's Max and Jax?
Doing good. Yeah.
Okay. How'd you feel about that run, Max?
It was pretty fast. Did not PB, but that's fine.
You got some pretty good steampunk PTBs.
Oh yeah, my steampunk was pretty good. Yeah, especially the 8.3 again.
I mean, we surprised you. Did you get like that first try, or was it like second? I think it was first. But...
I mean, I would count it as first, but technically it was my second because I reset.
Oh, before. So then any % first try. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were moving real fast through most of those levels there. Anything that sticks out in your mind as something that came off especially good, or something that went horrible?
Nothing was especially good or horrible. It was just an average run, I guess.
I like that. No, I didn't do anything particularly well there.
No.
I mean, you did fail 710, I think, right? The backup strat.
Oh, yeah.
That was painful. That was quite painful.
I was actually wondering when that happened. Did you actually get caught by the wall, or did you just instinctively, like, reset? Like, did you die, or did you reset?
I died because I went just over the hitbox of the finish and hit the wall.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure by our video feed whether or not it was like, oh, shoot, and you hit the R, and then, because it didn't look like you necessarily had hit the wall at that point, but...
Well, yeah. I did. The hitboxes were kind of weird over there.
Yeah, absolutely. Jax, how did you feel about this run, coming in with a 35.56-ish, I would say, via RTA? Are you with us, Jax?
Jax?
And why are you so blue, AJ?
Oh, wait,
my God, quit being depressed.
Dude, can you hear me now?
Why am I blue?
Yeah,
we can hear you now.
Well, that went terribly.
Looked like you were trying to do a version of AJ's recent PB in any %. Just everything was PPTBs for you this run, huh?
Well, I kind of got stuck in the mood of just doing a truck flip from last time. So I just ended up training PPTBs, and that was basically all I did since last time. And I have not ran through the game since last week.
But I gotta say, when I started running Clustertruck for the first time, and I uploaded my first run to the leaderboard, it only consisted of PPTBs.
It did.
Is that where you got the idea, AJ, for the...
Yeah, actually, it is. Everyone got the idea, because it's like Max came out with like hardly any hours in the game of just doing a PPTB every level, and we're like, it's that easy? Well, might as well integrate it.
I've seen that, and I remember feeling that way about certain no ability runs and runners that I saw, because like they came in and they weren't moving particularly fast through the level, but they were just like using mega jumps to stay in the air constantly over everything, and so they only had to like touch 2 trucks before the end of every level, so they were just staying alive the whole time while going relatively slow, but like way faster than your average runner because they're just not dying.
Strategies.
Strategy.
Well, this was a lower bracket matchup, which means Jax.
I'm out of here.
Thank you for participating. Hope you'll enjoy this version of our home game. But yeah, Jax, thank you so much for participating in this competition. Sad to see you go, but it also means that we're getting closer to the end of this 3-4 month long damn thing. So somebody's got to go down, and I'm willing to be the guy who pulls the trigger. But Max, that means that you move on and continue to compete against fellow runners in the lower bracket, which means you've got a chance to end up being the lower bracket winner who goes up against the upper bracket when we get to the end of. My God, are you gonna at least like sing something from the Blue Man Group or like Dabu Dee Dabu Die? Just you're so.
I'm crying. It's so depressing.
Sad clown, AJ.
No.
Sad clown. Don't rub it in. Don't rub it in. Oh, God. Those are your eyes.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, I think that brings us to the end of this race day. Because the runners couldn't all be here today, we're actually having a run tomorrow again at the same time, 4 p.m. Yeah, I know, it's sad. Tomorrow we'll have what would have been the second portion of this run at the same time. That's 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. BST, 11 p.m. if you're somewhere else, probably 13 p.m. somewhere in the world. But thank you all for coming out and watching, and thank you to both the runners. And again, Jax, we enjoyed your runs. Thank you for participation. Hope to see you back for next year's event. Hope we can get it done in less than a quarter of a year.
Oh, God.
But I gotta be honest, the first run was way better, in my opinion.
The truck flip?
Yeah, the truck flip run.
I mean,
I didn't finish, but hey.
It's gonna be memorable as hell. So yeah. But yeah, thank you all for coming out to today's show. We will see you back here hopefully tomorrow at the various times. Check out the leaderboards on challenge.com. Link in chat now, posted by AJ here on Twitch. And we'll see you back another day.
No, wait, I know you said you were gonna pull the trigger. Don't do it literally.
Come here.
Wait.
Oh, boy.